Hello and welcome everyone to the Sharmit podcast. Today I'm here with another special guest, Mr. Cameron Seay. He is a member of the governing board of the Open Mainframe project and a distinguished IBM champion for System Z. He is a true technology evangelist, deeply passionate about leveraging the power of open source and mainframe education to improve the human condition. In fact, he is the person who taught others how to teach COBOL and mainframe technology. In this episode, we will delve into his extensive teaching experience. But before we dive in, I'd like to express my gratitude to Dr. Seay for joining us today. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Sure, and thank you for having me. My name is Cameron Seay. I've been teaching since 2004, teaching mainly mainframe, but all subject IT, and I was in industry for 21 years before that. So, mainframe has been very instrumental in hundreds of careers that I've helped students launch. So, currently, I'm just continuing to do the same thing. Semi-retired, but still very active. I'm based in the U.S., in the North Carolina, in the U.S.
Okay. So now I would like to we would love to hear more about your journey, your professional lives. So as you have been involved in various initiatives to promote mainframe education, so can you talk about any particular program or initiative that you are especially proud of?
Oh, sure, yeah. Several. So in the interest of time, I'll go to the ones that I'm working with now. Internships and boot camps. No, not internships, apprenticeships. So the apprenticeship model is very amenable to the mainframe space. There's a lot because companies used to hire people and then take a couple of years to train them, and then they became mainframers. They're not doing that anymore. People they really need people to hit the ground running when they hire them. So our apprenticeships and boot camps facilitate that. So 12-week program, starting from ground zero. If you don't have never written a line of code, we can transform you into a professional programmer in 3 months if you're willing to put forth the work. So in addition, I'm still currently teaching at East Carolina University in North Carolina, and I enjoy that. So, but I'm most proud of my boot camps, and I'm building an apprenticeship in North Carolina, federally registered apprenticeship that will allow students to transition from home to work, from school to work, because that transition is not as smooth. College used to be the ticket. It's not that way anymore. College is not the guarantee for success that it used to be. So that's what I'm proud of.
Okay, so could you tell us a bit more about that bootcamp? Like how students get involved in that bootcamp? Is it the paid courses that is provided by the university, or it's an initiative by the university?
Well, yeah, well. The boot camps are completely separate from the university.
Okay.
I am trying to affiliate one with another university, not my university, but they're completely separate. We find the students. I mean, anybody. We have open calls. It's like open casting calls, and we just take names in. We list on monster.com. We try to be as clear about what the commitment is going to be before people even apply, and then we just screen them and we have a conversation with them. And you know, this is more about attitude than anything else. Your background really, I'm not going to say is irrelevant, but it's not as important. Your background to get into mainframe, from being out of mainframe to inside of mainframe, is basically a matter of you just want to put forth the work. So if you're willing to do the work and you have someone to teach you, you can become a mainframer. So the boot camps, and then the students, the last two were paid. So the students have a stipend. The U.S., the federal government, the U.S. Department of Labor has provided funding to assist in apprenticeship. So we avail ourselves of those funds as we are able to. These students got a stipend. I don't know how much it was, $300-$400 a month, but it was 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 hours of lecture, 3 hours of lab for 10 weeks, and then a 2-week project. So that's how, and everybody, our placement rate is 100%. I mean, people can actually do the work. So, what particular details would you like me to fill in? Because there's a lot to talk about now. I want to be mindful of time, but it's
Mhm.
basically 12 weeks, and we structure it so they can be successful.
Okay. And during our analysis, like we figure out that you also integrated the COBOL courses into the curriculum of HBCUs university.
Right.
So what inspired you to focus on integrating the COBOL courses into this curriculum?
Right. So your international audience may not be aware of the kind of social history of the United States, but it was very segregated for a number of years between black people and white people. So they had separate schools in the US,
Okay.
separate schools, right? With separate schools. They did not go to school together until the 1970s. So this whole list of colleges grew up that served black people because black people in the US need to be educated. The problem is with the racism the way it is in America, these schools have not been given the resources they were due from the federal government. For example, now there's a case pending that stipulates that there's $12 billion that should have gone to the HBCUs that did not go to them. So that's the background. And so in that type of competitive environment, but the students at HBCUs have to compete for students the same jobs as students of MIT and Stanford. So it's not even playing field. So what Mainframe allows us to do is to level the playing field because nobody knows it. So nobody has an advantage, right? And
Right.
so it's perfect for the historically black colleges because they don't need to spend a whole lot of money on infrastructure. The infrastructure is all provided by IBM or the community. They don't have to worry about instructors because there's a global inventory of people that want to teach this stuff remotely. So but they're resistant because mainframe is not the most popular thing. But that's the significance of it for the black colleges in the U.S. To answer your question, it's powerful. So I use COBOL because COBOL is a relatively easy language to learn, but nobody's teaching it. Therefore, very few people know it. Very few people in school know COBOL. So that gives you an incredible advantage because every bank, every insurance company, every large government agency uses COBOL, right? They're dependent on COBOL. So that's why I teach it. I'm having mixed success. The success is slow in coming, but I remain optimistic. But it's completely now. I am trying to incorporate an apprenticeship in one of the HBCUs, so we'll see how that works. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but the student would enter the apprenticeship in their sophomore, junior
Okay.
year, and they have a job. Their second or third year, and then they have a job from then on. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted.
Okay. Okay. And can you please also share more about your experience at the North Carolina Central University in 2005, like how it shaped your vision for teaching this mainframe further, like what all things were there?
Sure, no, that's that. Thank you for letting me explain it. As I said, I was in IT for 21 years, analyst, programmer, you name it, I did it. But I wasn't real fulfilled in my career. I was making a lot of money,
Okay.
but I wasn't getting anything. I enjoyed the work, but the work wasn't purposeful. It was just basically electronic paper pushing. So I was working on a PhD. This is another story, not for this session, but
Mm-hmm.
but I was working on a PhD in educational psychology. Again, long story. And I ran into this college that had written a paper that I used for my preparing for my comprehensive examinations. So I went to the school to meet the professor, and I met a young lady on a Friday. She was graduating the next day, Saturday, with a degree in
Okay.
CIS, and she had a B average. Her question to me was, "Is this degree going to help me get a job?" Right. So I thought that was a kind of a crazy question because computer information systems, you should not be asking. This is back in 2004, so you should have 3 or 4 job offers. So that led to my desire to teach. And I always want to teach at black colleges. So I mean, I don't know where that came from. I always want to teach. My parents went to black colleges. I attended a black university. So I always wanted to go to teach at black colleges. So that the opportunity came up. And then IBM just happened to be making a presentation about mainframe in June of 2005. No, January 2005. And that was it. That's it. Fast
Okay.
forward 20 years, I'm still doing it. And I've taught at 4 historically black colleges, 4 of them.
Okay. Okay. And how are the things now? Like, is it normalized? Like how have your efforts impacted the black student career opportunities in the field of mainframe technology? Is it improved now, or still there are some discrimination on the basis of color and other things?
Well, America's going to be America till the end of time. So I mean, we're realistic about America. Has the situation improved? You have to define improve. Can my students are all doing well? To answer your question, my students are all doing well because they've learned how to play the game. Now,
Mhm.
most black students in America have not learned how to play the corporate game to get a corporate job. So
Okay.
they're out there, they're struggling. But my students are fine. And I have 300 or 400 students that are out there doing this. So it's fine. And it can be expanded. I mean, there's no reason for anybody. We have a 500,000 open IT jobs. there's no reason for people to be unemployed if they have some tech skills.
Okay.
So yeah, but there's still resistance. It's not increased. I'll put it like this: the visibility has not increased due to my efforts. It's not increased.
Okay. Okay. And like I also noticed that you mentioned in one of your posts that there is some disparity in the salaries also among the mainframe programmers of different races. So how do you address this kind of disparity in the salaries uh, among the mainframe programmer of different races?
I tell my students, if you're 3 or 4 times better, you'll be fine, and that's been true. So they just have to be
Okay.
better. I'm sorry, it's just no. When you're in you're in when you're in an unfair situation, you can decry the unfairness of it all until the end of time. That's not going to help you address the situation. So you have to address the situation. If it's your competence or your abilities being questioned, you have to make that unquestioned. There had to be no question. So my students were going into interviews knowing JCL, knowing ISPF, and the students from Georgia Tech and University of North Carolina Duke did not. So it wasn't even a fair fight on our part. And that's the way we need to play the game. We need to build, you need to build an unassailable advantage. And all you have to do is pay attention. It's not just mainframe, pay attention. What is everybody missing?
Mhm.
Because they're always missing something obvious. In this case, mainframe is easy. Everybody's using it, nobody's teaching it. If I
Right.
want a job, I learn mainframe, I'm going to get a job. It's not complicated. So to answer your question, it does not address racial discrimination in the United States at all. It's still there. It says, I'm 67 years old. It is not improved one iota in this country, not one iota, right? But that's okay. My students are making $300,000-$400,000 a year now, so that's fine, you know. And it's not all about money,
Mhm.
Sharmit. It's not all about money. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. It's about being able to live your life without somebody else directing to their interest and not yours. So that's what it's about. So I hope that answers your question somewhat. We can't address the disparity, but we just fight. We just fight like hell. We just fight like hell, and we win. And we win.
Okay. Yeah, I also do completely agree with you. Like everyone should be given with the equal right for education, for jobs, and there should be there should not be any kind of discrimination on the basis of caste, color, or gender, anything. So it's a right for each and every human being, and I hope the situation will get better.
It will. Well, it's going to. And see, young people, the solution. I'm looking at the solution. You're the solution. This is not our world. This is not my world anymore. This is your world. You're going to be here decades after I'm gone. So you got to figure out how to do it. And I believe in you. I got faith in you. You're sharp. Your heart's in the right place. You're smart. So, and I've got hundreds of students. All of my students are like you. All of my students are like you. The ones that I work with, the ones that work with me, they're not all like that, but most of them are. Most of them are. Just look at it and think. All I ask my students to do, think, process, evaluate, apply logic, apply reason, and you will be fine. Because the facts and the data are going to win in the long run. Gravity is going to win in the long run. I hope this is not too philosophical for you, but it's what fuels my mission. Understanding the
Mhm.
clarity, the clarity of truth. Truth is always going to be truth. And you don't
Right.
have to worry about that. So our job is to find out what is the truth, not what somebody says the truth is. Somebody says black people are inferior to white people. That's what somebody said. It's not the truth. So you got to
Right.
go find the truth. You got to go find the truth. And then, as an instructor, my task is twofold. Every human being has a responsibility to determine truth for themselves. As an educator, mine is twofold: is to learn the truth and then disseminate that truth as objectively and dispassionately as I can. So that's my philosophy. And 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. And now, like, we would like to discuss bit about the success stories and notable achievement of your students. So, like, you have teach many students, I think more than 300, I would say, like more, what, even more than that. So, could you please share some success stories or notable achievement from any of your student?
Okay, so I've got dozens. I will start with one that didn't even go to my school. She was going to another school. She was in my boot camp.
Okay.
Young lady, she was in her early 40s when I met her, African American lady, and she had a degree. Her degree was in social welfare. That was her degree, social welfare.
Okay.
But she wanted to get into mainframe. So now, listen to how little exposure she had. This boot camp was only 4 weekends, Saturday and Sunday, from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. That's the only exposure she had to mainframe. She and I had computer science students, I had engineering students in that class. She beat them all in answering the technical questions because she listened and paid attention. I tell anybody who wants to learn mainframe, it's about steps. This is an insanely complex environment, but it all begins with one step, whatever the first step is. And I teach that first step, then I teach the next step, and you learn those steps. Pretty soon you got it. Well, anyway, right now at in Sono, she's a junior systems programmer, right? So I've got dozens like that, but she's amazing because she wanted to change her career, and she had not taken a programming class, not written a line of code in her life, but she wanted to change her life, and she did. So now, I've got three students at one credit union in North Carolina. One's an executive vice president. One is backing up all of their federal systems, and one is a senior software engineer. So I've got those kind of, and I got a husband and wife team. She's a senior software engineer. He's a senior architect. So they're making a lot of money between them. So I could go on like that all day. But I don't want to focus on the successes as much as I want to focus on who needs the successes are okay. I mean, we will celebrate them. We'll pop the champagne, but there's more work to be done. I'm not going to rest on the laurels. I'm not going to rest on them. So I want to figure out how to get this apprenticeship off the ground. How to, we've got some students in India that my partner Jeffrey Decker now. He's Jeffrey Decker, Decker. Remember his name. He teaches assembler like nobody in the world. We are going international. So we have a lot of Indian students that we're trying to work with now. They're going to pay. But we're going to try to be reasonable. You were asking about pay. So companies, our model right now, the company foots the bill. The students don't have any cost out of pocket, right, for our boot camp so far. And that's been true of mine and everybody. But now we're having a model. We've been inundated with so many requests for training that we're trying to find a paywall model. But I want to be respectful of our time, but I know people don't have a lot of money, so we're going to be respectful of that. But that's what we're trying. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. All right. And as you always mentioned, that COBOL or the mainframe technology is easy if anyone pay attention to it. And what I believe, like I think most of the college students don't even know about the mainframe technology, but those who know, they are familiar with it, they understand the importance as well as the potential of it. So what are your views on this?
You're exactly right. That I have not had almost none of my students have either not heard about the mainframe or everything they heard about it was bad. Okay. I've not had any problem within the first couple of lectures convincing them without any sales pitch, without any hyperbola. This is important technology. It's valuable technology. It's interesting technology. It's fun technology. And it's a technology that one should legitimately consider for a career. That's been my experience. And so the thing is, it's not the problem with the technology. The students just don't know about it. They just don't know about it. And all I do is tell them what it is and what it does. So your every banking transaction that you do, you look up your account. You're going through a mainframe. You pick up the phone, make a telephone. You're probably going through a mainframe somewhere. You make a credit card purchase. You're going through a mainframe. You book a flight. You're going through a mainframe. So when nobody's told them that, they've not heard that, and that's what we need. We need to be saying that over and over again. Not pumping up the mainframe, just saying what it does, what it is, and what it does. And look, this technology is not for everybody. If it's not for you, that's fine. But at least at least be aware that it exists and evaluate it. Is this for me? I got a lot of computer science students that say, I don't, it's important. This is not what I want to do. I want to do googly stuff. I want to do fake, and that's fine. And that's fine. There's enough people that need work. There's always going to be mainframes. Mainframe is not going to suffer. People talk about a shortage of mainframe. No, there never is and never has been a shortage of mainframe skills. There's been a shortage of willingness on the company of industry to do what's required to develop those skills. Never been a shortage of skills. Never.
Okay. Okay. And now regarding teaching skills, like I would like to ask, like, what advice would you like to give to other educator who are also teaching COBOL on mainframe, like how they can improve their teaching skills? Because students are there who are, let's say, if students are ready to learn the new things, so what all approach educators can take in order to explain the things in a simpler way, or at least aware the students about like what is COBOL, how it is doing, and same goes with mainframe. So what
Yeah.
advice would you like to give?
So my email is cwseay@gmail. They can contact me. They're pretty clear steps. If it depends on who it is. If they're a college professor, if they're a computer science professor, and they've taught programming and they've not taught COBOL, it would probably take them all of 15 minutes to learn how to teach COBOL. The problem is COBOL outside of maintaining context is kind of useless. I mean, 99% of COBOL runs on a mainframe. So the professor might need to learn a little something about mainframe based operations, JCL, things like that. But I've got labs. I mean, all they have to do is go through my lab step by step, and I've got labs already built. They can use my lab. If they're a computer science instructor and they don't know anything about the mainframe, they can use my labs to get up to speed. So they just call me. Call me. I mean, it's a great thing to it's a great discipline to teach. But one thing I found, Sharmit, is that usually I've not seen a case where anybody outside of this community was able to successfully teach this technology. I don't know what that's about, and there may be people that I know about that I don't know about that have been able to do that. But I think part of being a mainframe instructor is understanding the community and communicating that to the students. This is as much about culture as it is about technology. This is as much about philosophy as about what is computation. See, computation for a mainframe is different than computation for the end consumer. It's different. The conceptual is different. So I would tell them to just familiarize and call me. That short answer would call me because this is very doable. Very doable.
Right. Okay. And let's say if we talk about those students who are completely new to this technology, but they are interested in learning COBOL or mainframe. So what are the initial steps that they are supposed to follow in order to start their career or start to pursue their career in the scape COBOL or mainframe part?
That's easy. That's easy. Complete Z Explore. Z Explore.
Z Explore.
ZX. Yeah. ZXP. Put in the chat. Z Explore. If they complete this activity, they will know more than they have from one of my classes. So if they go, it's a series of exercises, free. They get a mainframe account. It starts simple. They use a graphical environment, so they'll know like ISPF and TSO and things like that. I would start there, and then the next thing to do is there are a ton of certificates, because the mainframe game is going by badges now. Badges count for a lot, so I would get as many badges as they can. And the Inner Skill can do it. Coursera, any free badge you can pick up, I would pick it up. Doesn't matter what it is. I would do Z Explore first because what Z Explore is going to do is give you the big picture. It's going to give you the big picture. Then when you study a specific technology like DB2 or COBOL, you're going to drill down. So out there, that's what. And and they called me too. They called me too. I put it in there so they can.
Yes, and thank you for sharing all these details. I'll keep it in the description of this podcast so that they can
Absolutely.
refer to it and they can reach
Absolutely.
out to you in case of any help.
You're doing a great thing, man. I mean, this is gonna go. I don't know how big your audience is. I don't really care. I don't go by clicks and numbers. I see what I gotta say. But what you're doing is needed. It's needed. And I don't know what your career aspirations are. What's your tech role now? Do you have a job or are you looking for a job?
Yes, I'm currently I'm doing a job as a software engineer, and
Good,
I'm
good. No, yeah, good. You have a nice run. You have a nice run. You have a nice run, son. I'm just thrilled. That's why I left it a chance when you told me a little bit of what you want to talk about. I will talk about this 24/7. And you got to shut me up. I'm looking at the clock because I know you got a limited time, but I can talk about this night and day. So you had a question? Did I answer your question? I mean, there was a question pending. I lose my train of thought sometimes.
no, no, it's okay. Okay, so I'll just jump to my last question as we have limitation of time. So
Mhm.
my question is, what keeps you motivated and passionate about your work despite the challenges you may face, and how you tackle your challenges? Because there are some people who are also facing day-to-day challenges in their life. So how you are like they can learn from your experience, like how you are tackling those challenges.
Great question, and we're going to end on that, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. I don't know if it's a function of old age or just paying attention, I got to the point where the game started making sense to me, right? And so my life, even though I have far less money than I've had at certain times in my life, it is extraordinary. It is excruciatingly happy. I mean, it is day to day. I live on 12 acres of land. I'm not rich. I live on 12 acres of land, a 4,000 square foot house, lake on the side. I mean, it's great. I'm not smart. Things just fell in place. I love what I do, and it may take you a while to determine what it is you're supposed to be doing. But once you find your spot, you will know it. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm doing what I was born to do. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And I'm going to do this as long as I can. Now, how to advise somebody to get there, Sharmit, I don't know, brother. I don't know. I can't tell you. I just live. Just open your eyes and pay attention. I tell you, it starts with treat people decently. Start there. Start there. And you'll be amazed at what happens. You'll be amazed at what happens. Just treat people decently and take it from there. And try to do what's right. And just intend for your life to have a good outcome, right? And seek advice, seek mentoring. Be serious about your life. I know I played when I was young. I had students that they were 20 years old. They did not play. They were serious. I'm not saying that's the right way to, but life is a serious proposition. So pay attention and treat people right, and that's a start. I mean, that's all I can tell you. My life is good. I hope everybody's life turns out as well as mine or better. Because certainly I don't have an inordinate amount of anything. I wasn't born with money. I'm not extraordinarily brilliant in my own opinion. I just pay attention. I like what I like. I'm willing to work hard, and that's it. It's worked out well for me, and it's going to work out well for you. You're on. As a matter of fact, your trajectory is much steeper than mine is because you're getting started at a young age. I was in my 40s where I figured out what the hell I was supposed to do. I was in my 40s. Anyway, but no complaints. No complaints. But that's all I have to say. I mean, that's all I have to say.
Yep. So thank you so much, Cameron, for joining us today and for sharing all these expertise with us. And thank you once again for the all good work that you are doing for the community and for all those students who are there learning and pursuing their career for the COBOL and mainframes. So thank you once again for joining us today.
I want to thank you. Thank you. You just keep doing, and anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to call me anytime, day or night.
Thank you.